Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Natesminifigs, and welcome back to LEGO Arts. So, in the last episode, we did a showcase on the Doomslayer Mark II, and this time we are going back to the Halo for one more showcase, and that is Blue Team from the Halo franchise. So we have the rest of the members, Fred, Kelly, and Linda, and these figures I've wanted to do for quite a while. Like ever since I got back into the Halo series, I wanted to do some Blue Team minifigures since I've rarely seen them. I've seen them in like the Lego community with the customizing, and decided to go ahead and do those. But I wanted to do sort of my own route with them. Like, at first I thought about just going them based off of the Halo 5 Guardians, but I honestly don't really like the designs in that one. And plus, I really wanted them to look similar to Master Chief since they kind of had the same armor. So this is sort of the idea of what they would look like if they showed up in Halo Infinite. And so for all the figures except for the helmets, I used the same armor materials that I used for the Master Chief, and just like printed them off and copied them onto here with some modifications as they're not exactly the same, which I'll explain that as we get further into this. So, as you guys know the drill, we're going to take these minifigures one at a time, review them, explain the process, why we went this route, and then go from there. So without further ado, let's get the pedestal out and get the showcase on the road. Alright, so first up is Spartan 109 Frederick. So for this figure was pretty easy to do as it was roughly about the same as Master Chief. So as I said before, the armor is pretty much exactly the same, only painted up in a different paint job and with some slight modifications with them, and that being with the shoulders. So one of the things that when I was making this guy, I was looking up with some of Fred's characteristics, and according to the Halo lore, he's very good hand-to-hand combat, especially with some knives. So I decided to incorporate that onto the figure, by taking some Procreate clay and sculpting out onto the shoulder pads. These are supposed to represent a sort of like sockets for where like he could be carrying the knives, can like whip them out, and then throw them at enemies. So I thought that would be pretty cool. The gun. And I believe it's supposed to be the DMR. I got this from a Brick Arms, from like a weapons pack a long time ago, and it does roughly look similar to the DMR, so I wanted to add that on here. It did show that he was carrying an assault rifle, but since I had already used the assault rifle for both Noble 6 and Master Chief, I wanted to alternate on different Halo weapons. So I went with this instead. The base coating that he did was this cool blue spray paint, a paint which looks really amazing. I think it really came out pretty good. I then painted on some of the black, with waist piece, and covered this all in a clear coat, to really make it stand out. And a change that I did make from the previous Master Chief was doing better sanding on these, on the hand covers, because I did notice that they do bulge out a little bit. So I wanted to this time make sure that they were properly sanded out so they could fit onto the figure perfectly, and it went really well. On the back, there's a little bit of paintwork, but again, it's roughly about the same. Not really a lot of difference with it. The biggest difference is probably the helmet. So as I said before, I wanted to do this as sort of my own idea of what Blue Team would look like in Halo Infinite. So this time I went with Natesminifigs designs for the helmets that he printed on of like sort of custom Noble 6s. Since that character really emphasizes on customization, I went through and purchased some of his helmets, and I felt that this would be a cool design for Fred. I felt that like it's very, it's kind of almost muscular, I guess it would be like, or robust. I'm not sure how to pronounce how the words describe it, but I felt that it's a very good design for him, and I'm glad I went with it because it looks really great. You can see underneath I painted on the gold visor, as well as the black outlining. The black outlining I did first, and then went back in with the gold, and then like all around the helmets, I used various photo references to get an idea of what this would look like, and painted in like the black detailing around the helmet, and then on top of the helmet, I did this gray pattern detailing. As at first I thought I was going to leave it blank, but then decided to go back in and add a little bit more detailing to it, and then to finish it off, underneath it's just a blank black head minifigure. At first I almost thought about doing the same joke that I did with Master Chief, but decided not to go ahead with that through that, especially since the spray paint for this one was running low, and I was lucky enough to just get enough to paint this on as best as possible. Overall, this was really cool. Cool, as the customization onto it was just about the same with Master Chief. Like, all the printing had already been done beforehand, and all that was left really to do was just go back in and do minor sculpting to really complete the figure. And the numbers this time did come out a little bit better, but I'm still practicing on that, as it's really difficult of painting on tiny numbers with white paint. Next up, we have Spartan 087 Kelly. This was actually the first of Blue Team to get done besides Master Chief. As this helmet came in with an extra package of, I think, either the Moon Knight kit or the Noble 6 kit. But one of my packages I received before these helmets came in, I received like an extra spare helmet and decided to go ahead and use it for Spartan Kelly. This is probably the only minifigure in this one that has an accurate helmet to her depiction in Halo 5 Guardians, as I still liked it and wanted to add on for it. So the base body, again, is the same like the kit but I did make some modifications. The shotgun was purchased by BrickTatical, which looks really cool. We'll go ahead and remove this so I can show you guys. But this time on the hips are completely different. As you can see, I did some sanding on the sides of the chest and waist armors to match that up. These were purchased from Firestar Toys and are made by Aerial Lights, as they've done these sort of female torsos where the sides are curved to sort of be representing on the hips. And again, like female torsos, I've seen some customizers use these in the past to emphasize on female minifigures, and I had toyed with the idea of using them, but never actively went on to incorporating on them. So I figured that I would give it a try with these ones, see how it would turn out, and it was a little difficult on not only adding on the armor and making sure that I would stay put, but also carefully sanding off as little as possible with the armor pieces and matching it up onto the back. Onto the whole figure. I also had to do a little bit of sanding on the back, mostly on the torso. The waist piece was already good enough as it was, so I just left it as it was. But yeah, this was a process in of itself, which I'm glad it came out good, as it was a pain. The paint job is sort of this cool navy blue coloration, which came out pretty nice. The rest of the armor pieces were pretty simple enough to do. Same thing with Fred, and just sanding off more on the hand covers and making sure those fit in well. This time I sculpted on this sort of ammo pack of sort of shotgun shells, as Kelly's main weapon is the shotgun. So I decided that I needed to sculpt that on, which I think came out pretty good. And then the paintwork, again, similar thing with Fred, just looking at various details, various photo references, and then painting on as best I could with the detailing. The visor did have way more layers to do than the other ones. In fact, I think this one probably had the most, since there's more area for the golds to cover out. So it was a bit of a process. Numbers came out a little bit better, not quite. Again, still working process on that. And then underneath the helmet, just a blank minifigure head, which still came out pretty good. And overall, pretty solid figure, I'd say, on my part. This was probably one of the easier ones to do, as the other ones did require some more work, which the next one is probably the hardest, and I'll explain that in a bit. But overall, this came out pretty nice, and I like it. Last up, we have Spartan 058 Linda. This one, definitely I wanted to customize the most. So for her weapon, again, purchased by BrickTatical, is this awesome sniper rifle, which looks really cool. Only difficult thing is that this part constantly keeps falling off, so I might glue that in later on. But we'll go ahead and remove this and really get into more on the figure. So, as I said, this one was the last one to customize and was the hardest to do. So one of the things that I wanted to work on for Linda was her helmet. I don't like her helmet in Halo 5 Guardians. It looks super weird. super weird, and almost like they just took a bunch of optical lenses and just glue them onto the helmets. It looks super odd, and I didn't really like it. I didn't like it. So definitely when it came to customizing the helmets, I wanted to expand on hers more. So for her base helmet, so the base of the helmet is the Recon Trooper, Trooper by Natesminifigs, and I lightly did some of my own modifications. Like I sculpted out this extended visor as I thought that would look cooler, and then sculpted on this extra lens as still wanted to add on her character trait of being a sniper, which I'd say looks great. This is an awesome helmet. I really like it. And then just went in and then went some detailing and some paint detailing around, painting on underneath the visor, painting around it, and it which looked good. The base coating I used is sort of a copper, as there was sort of a jumping back and forth of what her armor looked like. As like in the game, it said it looks to be sort of a bronze kind of color, but according to the books, apparently it's white. That's white. I didn't know which one to go with. And I felt, but then I decided, the copper looks great. It'll be a great addition, and I'm glad I went with it because it definitely looks really great. The hips, same thing that I did with Kelly. And Kelly just glued those on here and then carefully sanded them down to match up with the hips. And the hips, which does look good. And it's like good. Same thing on the back. As you can see, the paintwork and some of the paintwork on the back. I know it's a little bit messy, but in fairness, it's really hard to paint small areas while still trying to keep up with the detailing. And then on her shoulders, these are sculpted out with Procreate clay, sort of like sniper bullets. A little bit of a callback to Spartan June's design of having like some ammo on the sides of his shoulders, as I thought that would look pretty cool. This side I felt like looks better than the other one. And the other one, not 100% sure why. But either way, it still looks really, really good. And then underneath, again, same thing, just a blank black base minifigure head, and yeah, pretty much overall, like not really a whole lot to go on through, as the armor is just about the same except for the sanding in the hips and everything else, like this one as well as the other ones, were covered in a clear gloss, which I might need to get some more because I'm starting to run out. But either way, it looks really great. And again, I love the helmet as I felt this would be a better helmet than the one we got in Halo 5. And the numbers on here, you're better. I keep getting better with each and every time, and it's still good. And yeah, overall, this was the hardest one to do, as it required more sculpting as well as thinking a little bit more outside the box. When it came to some of the details with it. But other than that, this was a solid figure, and I'm glad how it came out. And that is going to do it for this episode of LEGO Arts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and to conclude it off, here we have the Master Chief in fully completed blue team, which I gotta say, they look amazing altogether. I'm really glad that I was finally able to get this showcase done. I'm not gonna lie though, I was slowly losing motivation to do this, as this was one of the last orders that I made from Natesminifigs, and he's just beginning to finally catch up to all the backlog that he's been going through lately. And this was on hold for months. Like I think about close to 5 months I've had to wait for all these helmets to arrive in. But I'm glad that they were finally able to arrive when they did, and I was able to finally finish up the showcase to finally get them all together. Original plan didn't go quite as well as I wanted to, but regardless of the long waits that I had to go through, I love the final results with them. Like again, they just look really awesome together. So I'm glad that I was able to get this done. However, at first I thought this would be the last Halo showcase that I would do, but not quite. As recently, Natesminifigs and Brick Affiliations did a team up where they're releasing the rest of the Noble Team package. And yesterday I was able to purchase one. So the next Halo showcase, we are finally going to be able to do the rest of Noble Team. I have no idea when the showcase, when that armor kit is going to come in, but once it arrives, I'm going to get to work on putting together some more Halo figures. And yeah, overall, I think that is going to be it for this showcase. Next one will probably be a Star Wars one, as I did finish up one of the Star Wars figures and decided to go ahead and record at least one of them. So we'll get to that. I'm also still in the works on God of War Ragnarok, but Ragnarok, but the date is counting down slower and slower, and we're just almost 2 weeks away from the game release. I'm super excited to get to it. I can't wait to finish up the rest of the figures, and I think it's going to be an awesome showcase once it gets finished. But overall, I think that's going to be it for now. So if you guys want to check out the Master Chief Showcase, the Noble 6 one, even the Arbiter one, you can check them all out in my LEGO Arts playlist. I'll also include links to Natesminifigs, BrickTatical, and Titan King. If you're interested on getting a 3D printed file from them, or checking out their store pages, go show them some love, show them some support. And yeah, that is going to be it. So thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys next time in the next video. Bye-bye!